It started with a bark, sharp, urgent, unlike anything Officer Jenna Lane had heard from Kilo before. The German Shepherd was usually composed, calm, trained for everything from narcotics to search and rescue. But that morning, something in the Florida air had changed. Kilo's body stiffened beside the patrol car, ears pinned forward, nose twitching madly as if trying to catch something only he could sense. And then he took off, yanking his leash so hard Jenna stumbled. She didn't hesitate. She ran after him. They had been dispatched to the outskirts of the Everglades, a call about a suspicious vehicle left near the swamp. It was supposed to be routine. A tow, a report, but nothing could have prepared Jenna for what Kilo was about to show her. Kilo darted through thick reeds, over muddy terrain that sucked at their boots and paws. The sun was barely above the trees, casting long shadows over the still waters. Jenna struggled to keep up, the heavy air clinging to her skin. Every few feet, Kilo would stop, bark, look back, then race on again, like he was being pulled by an invisible thread. It was more than instinct. It was desperation. Then she heard it, faint, muffled, a sound that didn't belong in the swamp. Crying. Her heart pounded as she followed Kilo to a dense patch of sawgrass. He barked again, frantically now, circling a low, muddy mound surrounded by shallow water. Jenna parted the grass, and froze. 2 babies. Infants. No older than a year. Wrapped in damp blankets, mosquito-bitten and crying so softly it was a miracle they were still breathing. Their tiny bodies were smeared with mud, their skin cold to the touch. And still, somehow, alive. Jenna dropped to her knees and radioed for backup, her voice cracking as she gave their location. But Kilo didn't stop. He sniffed around the babies, whimpered, and then ran a few feet farther, barking toward the trees. Jenna scooped the infants into her arms and turned just in time to see Kilo circling a third bundle. A third baby. Triplets. Kilo lay beside the third child, his body forming a protective curve. He didn't move until Jenna reached them. They were all alive, but barely. The next few hours were chaos. EMTs airlifted the babies to the nearest hospital. News spread quickly. A father, broken, jobless, abandoned by his wife, had driven into the swamp and walked away. He had told no one. Left no note. He had intended for the swamp to bury his pain. And his children. The arrest came a day later. But the story didn't end there. Jenna visited the hospital every day for a week. Each time she walked in, the triplets reached for her. And Kilo. The nurses were stunned at how calm the babies became when the dog was near. As if he were more than their rescuer. As if he were part of them now. The emotional toll was heavy. Jenna, herself an orphan, felt something in her chest crack every time she looked into their eyes. She started asking questions. How did Kilo know they were there? There were no screams. No scent trails strong enough to pick up from the road. Nothing but swamp and silence. Experts chalked it up to training. To Kilo's incredible nose. But Jenna knew better. It wasn't just training. It was heart. Compassion. The kind of sixth sense animals are never fully credited for. The department offered to name Kilo for a commendation. He didn't care, of course. But Jenna accepted on his behalf. And then she did something no one expected. She filed to adopt the triplets. The process was long, grueling, filled with red tape and psychological evaluations. Jenna wasn't married. She lived alone. Her job was demanding. But when the judge asked her why take on 3 babies that weren't hers, born to someone who tried to erase them, she answered with tears in her eyes. Because someone had to care first. And Kilo already did. 2 years later, the house that once echoed with silence was now full of laughter. Jenna's life had changed beyond recognition. The babies, now toddlers, thrived under her care. Kilo never left their side. At night, he would sleep in front of their cribs, a silent guardian. During the day, he played with them, nudging blocks and stuffed animals toward tiny hands, tail wagging. He had saved them in the swamp. But the truth was, they had saved her too. One evening, while watching the sunset from the back porch, one of the triplets, Lily, climbed into Jenna's lap and pointed to Kilo lying nearby. "He's our angel," she whispered in a toddler's sleepy slur. Jenna nodded, her throat tight. "Yes, he is." The story of Kilo and the babies became a local legend, a beacon of hope in a world that often felt too heavy, too cruel. Schools taught it. A children's book was written. And whenever anyone asked how the dog knew, how he sensed what no one else did, the answer was always the same. Love. Simple, instinctive love. Because sometimes, it doesn't take words or reason to do something heroic. Sometimes, it just takes a heart that listens when the world is silent. And a bark that refuses to be ignored.